Hi friends, welcome back to Peace and Plenty in 20. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet of my conversation with Anna from Olegana Travel, I really recommend going back and starting there because today's conversation builds so beautifully on what we opened up last time. But for this part 2, I'm back with Anna, and in this second part, we go deeper into what it looks like to travel internationally in midlife, whether you're juggling responsibilities, family, schedules, mental load, and feeling that constant pull between wanting more, but then feeling guilty for wanting it or actually acting on it and doing it. We talk about why travel doesn't have to be extravagant or overwhelming to feel meaningful, and how planning can actually feel supportive instead of stressful, and also why giving yourself permission to do that exploring, that resting, or just stepping outside your routine isn't something to be thought of any longer as indulgent. It's necessary. So this episode is especially for those of you who keep saying maybe next year, or once things slow down, or once I hit X, Y, and Z. You don't have to earn experiences. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect because, spoiler alert, there's no such thing as perfect. So if you are craving inspiration, clarity, and maybe a gentler way to think about travel and honestly about life, this conversation is definitely for you. Without further ado, let's get into part 2.
I say you need a combination of courage and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a little more crazy than courage. And the way I define courage is, it's not that you're not afraid to do something. You're afraid very much so, but you're doing it scared. You're doing
That's
it
right.
anyway.
You do it despite the fear.
100%. And I think like my crazy and courage have been driving me through life, and made me more risk taker, because I like also saying that, those who don't take risks don't take, well, there's this saying in Russian, which is my first language, is if you don't take risk, you don't drink champagne.
Oh,
I
like
say
that.
if you don't take risk, you don't drink Prosecco in Italy, you don't drink whiskey in Scotland, you don't drink cava in Spain, and all the other things.
Guinness in Ireland. We could keep going.
You don't drink all those things in all those places. But and now I lost my train of thought because I thought of Prosecco.
That's okay. That's all it takes is a little talk of Prosecco in Italy, and we're gone.
And
Forget
we're
it.
gone.
Wait, where am I? Who am I?
So we were talking about me realizing that I wanted to start a business. So
Right.
my husband said, listen, take a year. You can always go back, get a job. You have experience. You have education. Like, take a year. I'll see where this takes you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, no, I will not take a year because this is going to work. For the first time in my life, I didn't have a backup plan. Like, for some reason, like, I guess planets or whatever, things in life, like, just fall into a certain place at a certain time. In that moment, when he told me that, I remembered every single professor during my graduate MBA program who took points off my projects because I always had a backup plan. I would always present, like, this business scenario.
Right.
And say, if this doesn't work out, this is how we can, like, save the situation and do it, like, how we can use the resources and repurpose them. And they're like, nope. I'm like, but what do you mean? Like, it's good to have a, safety net. And when I was in college, I didn't realize that having a safety net means you don't believe in your idea fully. And I was fighting against that so hard, and I was losing points on every damn project.
Wow.
But when my husband said that, something clicked in my head, and I said, no, I don't need a safety net.
Yeah.
I don't need, I'm going to give myself a year, because I knew it's going to take more than a year. I also knew that I hated corporate, and I was like, I'll go and figure, if this business doesn't work out, I'll go and figure out a different business.
Yeah.
I'll go work for someone. Like, I'm not going back to corporate,
Yeah.
but also not having that thing to fall back on.
Right.
Like, I went all in. I had all my chips, my mortgage payment, my MBA, my career, my the livelihood of my family. I went all in on that idea. Was it scary? Hell yeah, it was scary. But it also gave me that push that, like, I have to put, if I'm betting all in, I have to put all of my into this. Because if I'm like, I'm going to give myself a year, it's just, when you like tiptoeing, and when you like, when you go like, you trying to enter a pool or,
Yep,
or
yep.
beach water, and you're like up to your ankle, you'll never feel the full magnitude of that, right? Yeah, you're not going to be cold because you're only a little bit, but you're also not going to feel like more relaxed. You're not going to feel the benefits of salt water. All of that. I was like, I'm the kind of person that I would rather do it and fail miserably and say, you know what? Well, I tried.
Yep.
I don't want to be on my deathbed. Be like, shit. Pardon. I don't know if I
Nope,
was.
you can. You're allowed.
Like, I don't want to be on my deathbed when I'm like 120 years old and be like, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, but I didn't for whatever reason. I'd rather say, you know what? In my 30s, I did this crazy thing of Russian dumplings tour or whatever it was. It was fun while it lasted, and then I crashed and burned and whatever it was. And that's what was part of my life. It was a chapter in my life.
It's such a good perspective in terms of you're not going to regret the things that you went for as much as the things that you didn't even try. And would you agree that even if something doesn't work out or go the way you wanted or it wasn't a success, I think at our age, and maybe it's because we're entrepreneurs, I look at those things as, what can I learn from this?
Yeah, 100%.
How does this help me grow? What went wrong so I know what to try differently?
Right.
Would you say that you've experienced that?
100%, because things are not going to work out all the time. And now that I keep referencing the Walt Disney book because I literally just finished yesterday and I feel so inspired.
It's a good model. He's a good model to follow.
Like, when he wanted to open his first park, he went to more than 100 different loan officers, banks. Everybody said no. I feel like if I was told no 100 times, I probably would have given up. Right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, he was already an animator and he had movies and cartoons and all of that, but like the park was a completely different thing. But he had a vision.
Yep.
That even if they're saying no, I'm still going to go for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, okay, so me failing here and there.
Yeah.
Or like one of the parks was like losing money for 2 years. Like all these setbacks.
Yeah.
Or like they opened Disney World in Florida and they didn't have any hotels. And then like 5 years or something into it, they were like, oh, we should open hotels because we're losing all this money. So I think you and I were talking because you're my coach. So we were talking about like my business the other day and I was like, I thought of this and I should have thought of this like years ago. And you're like, well, you thought of this now and you can.
That's right.
So I was like, okay, now I don't know where this thought is taking me.
That's okay. No, but I love that you brought that up, that whole, like that permission to pivot, because we were talking about how to learn from things, right?
Yeah,
that
100%.
Don't go your way, or like the fact that he went to 100 different people and they said no. There's a book called Rejection Proof, and he did this whole experiment. I've read it. It was like 5 years ago that I read it, so forgive me if I am summarizing it incorrectly. But the idea is that he's like, I'm going to get 100 no's just to practice and learn that resilience
100%.
of it's okay. It doesn't mean it's about me. It doesn't mean it's personal. I'm just going to learn to kind of accept that as part of the process.
Yes.
And you got to be able to bounce back from that and to use it in whatever way works for you, but to be able to just keep moving forward. And to your point, like when you didn't have a safety net, you knew you just had to kind of plow through.
I had to, like, and I'm not saying, take all of your savings, take the loan out of your mortgage. Like, don't do that. Like, definitely take calculated risks. Make sure you have a safety net in terms of like financial, that you can actually put food on the table.
Speaking of what you do, let's talk about some of the incredible, when I used the word at the beginning, right after the introduction, I said the things that the experiences that you plan are very unique and special because they are curated. Yeah. So give us some examples of some of those curated trips and experiences that you've done.
Very early on, I decided, like, I don't want to be another reseller of Trafalgar or Globus or whatever, because I'm not adding any value to that. There's a dime a dozen of agents who sell their tours. I want to be unique. I want to have my Elegana tours. So I went on a few more trade shows and started talking to people in the community and travel agent community, started meeting you know, the local mom and pop winery owners and hotel owners and restaurant owners, and creating my own little circle of trusted suppliers and destinations, because I have taken my time and my own money. Nobody was hosting me for free. I was nobody. So I would like fly to Italy and be like, okay, I'm going to stay one night here, one night here, one night here, one night here.
Yeah.
And during the day, see 5 other hotels, and maybe have lunch. Maybe somebody would invite me for lunch, you know, like, okay, saved a few bucks on that. That was nice. But I would experience all those things, and I'd be like, okay, this place sucked. I'm never sending anyone here. But these 4 other places were amazing. And I know, like, now this hotel is great for families because of the location and how the rooms are set up. This maybe is better for honeymooners because it's more romantic. It's more tucked away. This one is great for multi-generational, so we can have grandparents like in one corner of them. You can, like, you know, have the whole floor to yourself, like 4 rooms connected together.
Yes.
So all those nuances that you can't learn that from a brochure. So going again back to your question of like what do I do? This is what I do now for clients. Like I take out all that stress, all that figuring out from point A to point B, because really you don't need an MBA to go to Paris. Like you book your flight, you book your train or a hotel, and you're there, right? Like Paris is walkable. But if you want to avoid the lines, if you want to know the little nooks and crannies and, you know, little cafes, or, you know, experience something unique and different, like consider me like your bestie that lives in that destination. Yes, I'm not there with you, but I have people who know people who know people.
Exactly.
So we'll have someone who lives in Paris who literally will take you by the hand and will take you through the little streets and, you know, show you their favorite coffee shop and show you like where to go shopping or where to go to the art gallery.
Amazing.
So like you are not in all those touristy places. I mean, yeah, we can't remove all the tourists from the Louvre or Eiffel Tower. Like, they're there for a reason, but at least we can get, you know, like skip the line tickets or something along those lines, or express tour where you just go to Mona Lisa and a couple of more things and you're out of there. But even beyond that, like I really love to get to know people, like what they love to do. And I always ask them what they do for a living. So I had a client who's a dentist, and they went to Greece on vacation. And I didn't even know that, but apparently ancient Greeks invented dentistry, or like the first dentistry. So there was a tour, like I told my partners in Greece, like these clients, like he's a dentist, so they put together a tour for them. It was like a dentistry themed tour.
That is so cool.
In Greece, where they could like learn about, you know, the first instruments, or like how, like I wasn't on the tour, so I don't remember, this was a while ago. I don't remember exactly the specifics, but it was around the history of how dentistry evolved and how it like first instruments and first doctors, how they did things. It was, I thought that was pretty amazing.
Powerful, fun, like.
Right? So different. Probably my favorite, or like one of the most memorable ones. I had a client who wanted to propose. And we were, his girlfriend at that time knew that they're doing a trip. Okay. So she was involved with planning of the trip, but she didn't know about the proposal. So it was like a two-way. Okay. A little bit too parallel things.
That's making your money's worth. Yeah. Try to navigate that one.
And so they went to Iceland, and we had a picnic set up for them on the side of the volcano. How and cool they had a helicopter landing on that side of the volcano and had a picnic there, and he proposed, and I was praying that she would say yes, because I had only one helicopter that could take them back to the mainland.
That would have gotten a little
awkward. She would have said no. I was like, you know, like those.
Oh, like the Bachelor.
Yeah. Oh I'm like, I don't have another helicopter.
Oh boy, yeah. Wow, that
she
is
said yes.
Such. Oh, thank God. That's what I mean. Like, so unique, so special. Yeah. And like, it's almost like not to be all Walt Disney, but it's like you're making someone's dreams come true. And what you do for midlife women, so many women come to you and come on these trips. Why? Like, what is it about travel, and what have you witnessed? And we have a lot of the same clients.
Right.
In terms of their avatar, meaning like who they are and what's going on in their lives, right? There's usually maybe some sort of transition. There's usually finally like what I coach on is knowing your priorities and giving yourself permission. So I have a sense there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
But I want to hear, in your experience from your clients, what is it about these midlife women traveling that is so special and makes it such an important thing to do for them?
Like, I never thought I would work with women in the second part of their life who are retired or who maybe like lost some, because a lot of my guests, women who just retired, lost a partner to divorce or to death, unfortunately. Maybe they're a little bit younger, but they, kids are out of the house and they're empty nesters and they just don't know like where to apply themselves. Maybe they retired earlier. Maybe they just went through cancer treatment and then remission. Like something big some kind of a change has happened in their life and they're craving a new beginning.
Yeah.
But they may be a little bit hesitant about giving themselves permission for that new beginning. I love that term permission because I actually, and you were one of my guests I did a podcast about like signing your own permission slip.
Yes.
Where I feel like women at a certain age realize like, heck, it's fine. It's time for me to sign my own permission slip and do the things that I've never given myself permission to do.
Right.
Travel or get a divorce or get some kind of a treatment that maybe you don't like how you look and you wanted to get the treatment. Or, give yourself permission to have kids or not have kids or like, I love
do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I love when my clients are like, like my guests, they're like, I'm spending my grandchildren's inheritance. Like I want to I work because these women who they're 50s, 60s, 70s, they have worked their whole life.
Right.
They've raised families, they've built businesses, they've had careers, they've taken care of elderly parents. It is now their time to live and enjoy. But being with women in a destination who maybe just have taken a trip for the first time after they lost a partner, or for the first time have taken a trip period, maybe they never left the country, or like they finally retired and they want like seeing it in their eyes and on their faces, like how those eyes light up when they maybe see the Mediterranean Sea for the first time, or Mount Etna, the volcano in Sicily, or see the castle in Scotland where they filmed the show and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this is real. Seeing that emotion on their faces, it's everything.
That's it, right? That's what life is about. Like you're literally like, oh, this was my purpose.
Yeah. And having someone who's like 78, 79 years old, who have traveled their whole life and telling me that this was one of the best trips of their life, but doing it with women who really want to feel alive, and it doesn't matter if they're 39, 79, 59. Like everybody has different timeline. And
I think this is a perfect way to kind of sum everything up because what you just described is literally, to me, peace and plenty. Yeah. Right? Stepping into like kind of knowing your truth and not saying, oh, I'm just going to abandon all responsibility. And you set a plan.
Yep.
You work hard, but you also appreciate what you have. You also, like there's these two sides, the yin and yang to everything, 100%. Right? This balance. It's almost like you have found this wonderful balance and you're also trying to help other women find that, the ones that need maybe a little bit more of the permission to indulge, self-indulgence.
Yeah. You have to redefine do you want the corner office and that fancy business card, or do you want slower mornings? And now that my second baby is in daycare, like I take all the time I want in the morning. Because I know this is the last year before he goes to school. He has to be at a certain time in school. Right. So if he wants to cuddle for a little longer, we'll cuddle. If he wants like a fancier breakfast, I give myself that breathing room. And to me, that's success. That's happiness. It's not like being, all made up and at 8 o'clock in the morning at the board meeting because I'm the CEO or whatever. Like, I don't need that. I don't need... Yes, if you want to call me travel agent, sure. Like, I don't even care like what's on my business card. Like, I don't care if somebody's like, oh, she's just a travel. Like, I'm happy in my heart because I'm following my dream. I'm making I'm changing lives of other people. I'm present with my children when I want to be present with them because I make my own schedule. I don't commute like crazy. I give my husband the opportunity to do the things that he needs to do when he needs to do them because I can be more present and pick up kids from school. And then we take turns. So there is a balance. Maybe I make less money. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. We make ends meet. And to me, that's what it's all about. I live the life on my own rules, based on my own rules, not based on you have to be at work, you have to do this, you have to be a good mom, blah, 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 blah. So maybe even though if we talked about a lot of things, but if maybe this is one takeaway women can get from them. It's it doesn't matter if you're first part of your life, a second part, or midlife, or, retiring or younger. there are certain rules we have to follow. Yeah, like you can run a red light, right?
Mhm.
It's just like
Absolutely. That
like you
just
have
keeps
to do
things
that.
in order. Yeah.
But also like rethink other rules and like where did you learn them and do you really have to follow them and can you make your own?
And that can be very hard to do, as you and I have talked about, especially all of us. Every single one of us has our own conditioning. We were imprinted with certain beliefs from a very young age. We were raised a certain way with certain messages, and that can be very difficult to work against.
Yeah.
But it's possible, right?
It's
I
possible.
mean, you and I have done a lot of work together, and one of the things that I know I've told you, and hopefully you don't mind me sharing,
No, of course.
and we can edit it out if you do,
Yeah.
but one of the things I keep telling you is how, and we looked at like the growth from like, you know, here are some of the things that I'm not happy with and aren't sitting right with me.
Sure.
And you took action.
Yeah.
As uncomfortable as it is sometimes, you take action, small actions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but we get to be in charge of us.
Yeah.
We get to still honor and respect whatever rules, programming was instilled in us. We can honor and respect that and still write our own story, write our own rule book. I love that. Like, and that's what you have done. You've written, you know, Anna's new updated rule book, right?
Yeah.
Throw the old one out. You find ways of being productive. These are all my pillars. That's what I'm thinking through. Like, you find ways of being productive creatively. Like you follow your downloads and your instincts, but you also have a structure and a plan, right? And a calendar in place.
Right.
You set boundaries where you have to. Like, you're really good about saying yes and no to things that work with your life. And then that 5th pillar, which is where you are now, is purpose and power. Like, you're totally empowered. Like, listen to the way you're talking about your life and your business, and you know your purpose. And you literally just said, like, you got goosebumps when you're like, holy shit, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. Like, you literally have embodied that whole idea of you get to be in charge of you. 100%. It's finally time for you to say, and again, we're not doing either or, like, I'm just going to worry about me. We're saying it can be both. You can still be a good mom and have a business, right? Yeah. You can still maybe, and personally, not subscribe to some of your parents' ideas. Dad, I have 2 tattoos now, but that doesn't mean I can do that and still be a good daughter, right? It's all of these balancing acts that we always are striving to find that middle ground, and you're living proof that you can do it. And the whole travel thing is just, to me, we're on the same page with, I just think it's one of the most fulfilling experiences you can have in life. And even if you can't, let's say somebody, let's say you're like, well, I can't afford that. Well, there's other ways that you can travel. I mean, honestly, I love reading stories that are placed in other places, watching movies. And to be honest, if that's something that that you think would be life-changing for you, start making the investment. And that's part of what I do, like, in terms of, like, productivity. If that's something, like, you realize, you know what, this is really a value of mine, a priority of mine, let's figure out a way to make it happen for you.
Maybe 1 less Starbucks a day.
I mean, start adding, like if we sit down and do the math, let's figure out a way to do it, right?
Oh,
the group trips are more affordable than trying to 100%. Do it on your own.
Yeah, because we share the cost among 16 people. Also, like, we just released our 2027 trips. So you have over a year to pay out. Like, we have the payment plan. I also am more than happy to offer $100 off any of our tours for your listeners.
Okay,
so just
Peace and Plenty discount. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, just mention that even if you want to do a custom trip, like with your family, it doesn't matter.
Awesome, thank you.
Little gift of back to the world.
Thank you.
But yeah, like, if it's important to you, you'll make it work. Yeah. Like, I don't have a fancy car or fancy shoes or fancy bags, because to me, that's all the money I can be spending on travel.
Right. And it's not a priority.
No.
You've decided, like, your priorities. Yeah. So it doesn't, that's why I think I want women to understand. It's like, the way you don't waver about that and the way you're saying it so confidently is because you've done the work. Like, you've sat down and had the time and giving yourself the space to be like, no, you know what? These are my priorities. Anna, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
I know you're busy, but it's so important. This is such an important
Absolutely
topic. I mean, literally like life changing, life affirming. So I will put in the show notes. I'm going to put a link to your website so they can see the trips that are coming up. If you want to grab a discount. Also in my show notes, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know when this is airing. It might air in time to join me Saturday, January 31st. I'm actually offering just what we were talking about, space and time to be like, wait, what is it that I want? Do I know what I really want? What's that going to look like for me? Permission, time to be with other women who are in exactly the same area. And I think having a community of women is one of the most powerful, underrated experiences for midlife women. So if you watch this in time before January 31st, 2026, be sure to sign up for that. And until then, make sure, just like Anna would advise, make it a peaceful and plentiful day, week, month, and life. I'll see you next week. Peace.